welcome back to Handmade Not Hallmark. Today I've got this rainbow birthday card featuring some awesome products from Simon Says Stamp and Studio Katia. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. First thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my background panels all done. Now in this video I created 2 background panels. I only ended up using one in my finished card. I plan on using the other one for another card maybe later on. I'm taking some of this Ranger texture paste and the Spring BOHO mandala stencil from Simon, and I'm going to put on this stencil paste over some pre-cut craft cardstock. I already have this kind of cut down to the size that I want. It's slightly smaller than an A2 sized, so I have a nice thin border around the card later. And I'm just adding this on real thin. I don't want it to be super thick because it'll take a little bit longer to dry. And I just love this stencil. I have used it a lot in the past. I think it's just so pretty and adds a lot of nice texture for the background. Next I'm going to get my flowers stamped down here. I have some watercolor paper, and I am using the Studio Katia Japanese Peony stamp, and I really like this a lot. I love this big floral. It is super pretty and fun, and you can definitely do this technique with any other big floral stamps. I got the idea from Amy Rasavi over at Perrier Paper and Ink, where she took a big floral and did this sort of rainbow painting on it, and I was really inspired and I wanted to give it a try. I don't do a whole lot of rainbow themed things, but this one turned out so good. I loved it so much. This card was so much fun to make, and it's super easy. I'm just taking some Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink, and I'm just stamping it down onto this white watercolor paper with some white embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. And I'm just going to go around and brush away any of the areas that have embossing powder that went where I didn't want it. I'm just using a nice dry brush. I'm not super concerned about getting it perfect because you're not really going to notice it once all of the color is on here. So just kind of cleaning it up a little bit and getting it just right, and then I'm going to heat emboss that after I get my second one done. At first I was planning on doing 2 cards, but I ended up making just the one and adding the florals to the one card, and I'm super glad that I did. But I can definitely see doing this technique with, individual flowers, a really, really big floral. This one's pretty big, but I could definitely see you doing it with even just a background stamp would be super fun too. And I am stamping this a couple of times because this is watercolor paper and it has sometimes a hard time taking to embossing. So doing multiple stamping and using a stamp positioner like my MISTI here really helps you get a good impression. Now this second one I didn't get a super good impression with. I was a little bummed out, but I decided to just kind of roll with it and kind of just keep going. I've been trying to do that with myself, is stop being so critical and just to try to continue on and kind of power through. Gonna get my embossing powder all cleaned up and out of the way so I don't make an even bigger mess, and then I can get my heat gun heated up and melt those. Now once those are all done, I'm gonna take 3 Distress Oxide ink colors. You don't have to use Distress Oxides, or I'm sorry, I'm not using oxides, I'm using regular Distress inks. You can use oxides or the regular Distress inks, or you can use any kind of ink that works well with water. I am using Picked Raspberry, Mermaid Lagoon, and Mustard Seed, the 3 primary colors to create my rainbows. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink blend a little bit in the background to kind of give me a guide on where my rainbows are gonna kind of be. I'm not very good at rainbow. I know rainbows go in order, the regular kind of rainbow order, but you can definitely do this any way that you like, any way that you're comfortable creating rainbows. Watching Amy Rasavi do this really kind of helped me create that fun rainbow look, because I would have just gone in order, kind of like the way that she had mentioned is anytime I do a rainbow, I have a habit of doing it in rainbow order. Whether I'm only doing the blues and greens and purples of the rainbow or the reds, yellows, and oranges, I always end up doing them in rainbow order. It's just, I guess it's just a habit that we kind of get stuck on, and doing this kind of really helps you break out of that to where you can create something really fun and unique. And I was super thrilled with this. This was so much fun. And again, you can use any inks that you can use waters with. You could definitely leave it just like this too. You don't have to go into doing the next step like I do. This is super fun the way that it is. Die cut these and you're good to go. But I really wanted to deepen the color and really make them stand out. So after I was done with the ink blending and I was happy with it, I went and I took a aqua shimmer pen, and that's how I did my watercoloring. Now you could easily just use a paintbrush or a watercolor brush, anything like that, but I wanted to add shimmer to mine and make it fun and sparkly. So I got my artist paint palette here. This is just a flat paint palette. I think it comes from Art Impressions. And I'm just pressing down each of those colors to help kind of paint over top of what I already have. You probably don't need to do this. You can just use the color that's on there. But I decided to go over it just to kind of deepen the color. I am going to put on a little bit of music for you guys to enjoy while I do the painting. And once I'm all finished, we'll come back and finish up the card together. Once I was all finished with my coloring, I went ahead and I fussy cut these florals out because I don't have the matching dies with them. They're super easy to cut out, and I love the way that they turned out. They were so pretty and sparkly. And I'm going to work on the greeting now. So I've got the Joyful die from Simon Says Stamp. This is from Simon Says Stamp NCZ. And I cut it out of some white cardstock scraps and some black cardstock scraps to create a fun dimensional die cut. And I really liked using this Joyful die. Typically I would only use it for the holidays because that's when I think this one was released. It was released during like Christmas time. And I didn't think about it until I kind of grabbed it and, you know, Joyful Birthday. And I was like, this totally fits, and it worked out great. And I'm so glad that I did. This card was probably one of my favorite cards that I've created most recently, getting back into crafting again. And as soon as I finished the card, I was like, yes, I'm back. I was super excited because I was having a really hard time coming up with ideas and, you know, being inspired and doing all of those things. But getting back into watching some of other creators really helps you get inspired again, and just kind of jotting down ideas. And it really helped me get back into crafting, and I was super thrilled and I'm super excited. I know it's taken me a while to get this video uploaded, but I've been having like some serious technical issues with, getting my videos finished and uploaded. So that's why it's taken so long to get this video up. So I get back into my crafting and then I have technical issues. So I do apologize for that, but I'm so glad that you guys stuck around and you're hanging in there with me. I am trying my best to get back, and I'm so glad that I am. Now that I have all of my pieces ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my florals on after I do my secondary greeting. So I have just a piece of scrap cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp down the birthday stamp that comes from the Tiny Words stamp set from Simon. And it says joyful birthday wishes is going to be the entire greeting. And I'm just going to stamp that down with some nice black ink. I do it nice and gently so I don't kind of smush out the text. And then I'm going to use one of my banner dies I have in my stash to cut this out. You could easily freehand cut it, use your paper trimmer, anything like that. I personally like to use banner dies with these small greetings because I end up cutting it crooked or screwing it up in some way. So I'm just going to grab a banner die and die cut that. Now that I have all of my elements ready to go, I can go ahead and get this card assembled. And again, I do appreciate you guys kind of sticking in with me. I know I've been gone for quite a while. I've had a lot of things kind of going on behind the scenes, and getting back into crafting has been challenging for me. But whenever I create a card like this that I feel so good about and so passionate about, it really makes me happy that I'm back into this. And I know a lot of people have said, why do you like to craft? Because it is like therapy. It's cheaper than therapy anyway, well, in some cases. But I really do enjoy it, and I'm super glad that I'm, attempting to get back in it and that you guys are sticking in with me. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop up my flowers with some foam tape here. This is just some Simon Says foam tape. You could use any kind of foam tape. You don't have to pop it up. You could leave it nice and flat. I just wanted to add a little bit of dimension to these just to add some more interest. This would have been really fun with a text background as well underneath that mandala. I didn't think about it until after I had all the card done, but I have a habit of kind of doing that with everything as I add a text background. That's kind of like my thing. But I decided to try to kind of steer away from that and do something a little bit different. And this rainbow has been very different. I've been doing a lot of rainbow things lately, and I've really liked it. It's been a lot of fun. Gonna get those lined up here. And then I can just trim off the excess of these florals. You could definitely use these remaining pieces to kind of fill in other areas, but I just decided to leave it as is. These two pretty florals turned out so great. I love them a lot. I love the rainbow color. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I really did. And with that greeting on there, it really, really pops. Gonna add some more liquid glue to the back. Now you don't have to add as much liquid glue as I did, only where it's going to touch the flowers, but I was just super excited about this card. I didn't even think about it. Gonna get that popped up there right in the middle, and then the birthday wishes is gonna go right underneath it, kind of nestled in, and it works out perfectly. I am going to add a little bit of foam tape underneath this one because it is kind of floating more off by itself than the other greeting was. Gonna get that lined up there, add a little bit more liquid glue, and it looks super cute. Love this so much. And then I'm gonna get my actual card base ready. So I am using a top folding A2 size card base today, and I wanted to add a little bit more fun on the inside of the card. And I don't normally do a whole lot on the inside of my cards, but I was really feeling the vibe of this card and the whole rainbow theme. So, and I love this big floral, this big peony flower. So I wanted to add that to the inside of the card as well as another greeting. So I'm going to take that big floral stamp again after I get my space cleaned up here, and I'm going to stamp it on the inside of the card as well. And I'm going to kind of do it as a rainbow like I did on the front. So I'm going to position it where I'd like it, and then I'm going to take those 3 colors that I used earlier, and I apologize that I am out of screen, and I'm just kind of dabbing the color on in different areas to create, kind of resemble the way that I had kind of pre-ink blended before I painted to kind of, you know, make a rainbow. I didn't know how this was going to work out. I really didn't. I've always seen Amy Rosavi do this in her cards, and it works out perfectly. This is the first time I've ever done it, so I was really hoping that it turned out good and I didn't mess it up. And it really did. I was super thrilled with it. It came out so pretty, and you could definitely do this for the front of a card. It was a lot of fun. I think it turned out really cute. Again, I was super stoked. Every time I did something in this card, in the background, I kind of did like a little happy dance. That's why I'm glad you guys can't see everything that happens in my craft room, because it's kind of a show. Once I have that all done, I'm going to grab a greeting, another greeting from Simon Says Stamp, and I'm going to stamp it down here in the center of my card with just some nice black ink. All of the products that I used today will be listed and linked in the description below if you're interested in any of those. Get that stamped down. And I'm super glad I got lots of birthday cards going on here. I need to restock, which I ran out of. And the birthday cards are a lot of fun because you can do just about anything for a birthday card. Once it's all ready, I can get my background here, and I'm just going to adhere it down with some liquid glue. I didn't want to add any more dimension. The florals on the front were plenty. Add that liquid adhesive so it sticks nice and well. And then once I have that all done, I do plan on adding a little bit of embellishment. You could definitely leave it right here. This card is beautiful all by itself. You don't need to add any sequins or anything along those lines. It is very pretty all on its own, but I wanted to add just a little bit more the black in the background. I felt like just needed a little bit of something. So I grabbed a couple of these sequins from This Calls for Confetti, and added just 3 small embellishments in black, and that will finish up this card for today. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and watching the video. If you liked it, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel. I am going to try to turn the flashlight on so you can see that sparkle. It does show up a little bit here in real life. It really does shine. And again, I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye!
On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.